this is Jamie Magridge. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. It was a color challenge. The color challenge is to use Melon Mambo, Pumpkin Pie, Highland Heather, and you can add black, and you can add white paper. You can add the memento for your stamping. So this is what I came up with. So let's get started. It's using the Forever Fern. I'm using this stamp, this stamp, this stamp, the splatter, and then I use this sentiment. I'm also using the dies. I'm using the die that coordinates with this one here, and then these little ones, I use 3 of those. Okay, so for paper, we have a tiny little, it's like a 3/8 inch, or it's just a little strip of pumpkin pie. I have a scrap of Whisper White to die cut the these little guys out of. Okay. So those are going to go get cut out of there. Come over there. I have a scrap of Melon Mambo. I have a strip of, it's 1.5 inches of Whisper White to stamp my sentiment on. I have a 4 by 5.25 inch piece of Whisper White to stamp our background on. And then I have a card base of the Melon Mambo, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4.25. So let's get started here. First thing I'm going to do, let's stamp this so we can die cut it out. We're going to use this stamp here, this one, and Melon Mambo ink. We're going to stamp that. And we're going to bring in that die that matches it. This one. Gonna line it up. You can adjust the leaves, and then there's these 2 little holes at the end. It's kind of hard to see, but if you line up the stem in those holes, you'll get a perfect die cut. So let me go cut this out. Cut out those 3 little white sprigs, and I will be right back. Okay, I've got those done. So let's put all our little pieces aside up here. Okay, now let's bring in our sentiment strip. And we're going to use this sentiment, Love and Laughter Forever After. We're going to use Memento ink. And I'm going to stamp that in the center. Okay. I'm done with the Memento ink. Now on this one, I did use a punch. I used the tailored tag punch. And I slid this in like this. Oh my goodness gracious. And I punched. Okay, so let's put that aside as well. Now let's bring in our layering piece. Excuse me. Alright, sorry about that. I muted and turned my phone off. Alright, so let's bring in the layering piece. Again, this is 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to do some random stamping. We're going to do like, you could do it like a one sheet wonder if you want, but however you want to do it. And I'm just using that same leaf that I did before. And I'm just stamping randomly across the background, turning it as I go so that it's not the same exact pattern. Let's do a little bit more over here. Okay, looks good. Now we're going to go into the pumpkin pie. We're going to bring in this one. We're going to stamp a few of those. Okay. Then we're going to come in with Highland Heather. And this one, we're going to stamp a few of those. And it's alright if they overlap. Let's do one more here. Okay, now we're going to come in with those polka dots and the Melon Mambo ink. And we're just going to add spots. We're going to stamp full strength and then just keep stamping a little bit. I'm just kind of filling in the background a little bit. It just makes everything cohesive. I apologize for the noise. I live in a city, so unfortunately there's no way around it. Okay, so let's get rid of this so we can actually see what we've got. Alright, now we can assemble our card. Well, let me put these inks away. Otherwise we're going to end up with a big mess. Okay, so let's bring in our, well, let me use my snail because I want to use it up. This is going to go right centered on the front of our card. Just decide which way you want it to be. I want it like that. Okay, then I'm going to come in with this piece. Now on this card I raised it up with dimensionals. On this one I'm going to do it flat because then we can call it a simple stamping card. Figure out where you want it. Adhere it down. Bring in our snips. Or you can do this on the paper trimmer. Turn the card over. You're going to butt the edge of the scissor up against it and trim that off. Okay. And we're going to come in. We're going to bring in this piece here. For this piece I'm going to use my wet glue only because it's tiny. And I'm going to put a little wet glue on the back. If I can get it to come out. Come on. Alright. Oh, that's more than I need, so spread it out a little bit. I normally just do teensy tiny little spots, and I do want to taper this one corner. Should have done it before I put glue on it. Okay, now I'm going to line this up. Oop, I tapered it the wrong way. And I'm going to just set it down here. Again, I'm going to turn it over and snip this off. Now I'm going to come in with that pink piece that we cut, or that we stamped. I'll add some snail on the back of it. Set that down here. These little pieces. There's 3 of them. Don't need much glue on the back of them. Okay, and there's our card. Hashtag simple stamping. Now if you wanted to add a bow on there, oh, this isn't simple stamping because I used these dies. Well, there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and add the bow. I just did a little knot, a little ribbon knot. I keep forgetting. It's a simple card, but it's not simple stamping. Okay, bring in a glue dot. Add that knot there. There we go. This one is not dimensionalized. This one is. I like it better with the dimensionals. There you go. Well, thank you for joining me at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.